Good morning, Ano Mera. Welcome to Greece Travel Guide and welcome to sunny Mykonos. Arrived last night on a late flight and I've got a couple of days here, so we are going to be exploring the island. Let's take a little bit of a walk. So I've ridden right over to the southeastern corner and we are now going to head down to a beach called Frangias, which is down there somewhere. I had hoped to be able to ride all the way down on my little moped here, but as you will see, the last kilometre is on a bit of a dirt track and decided not to risk it all the way down on the moped. I made it down this bit here, but as you will see, this track that we've now got to walk down is probably not passable on a moped. So let's have a walk down to the beach. Now, I don't suppose this is the sort of beach that many people are going to come to when they visit Mykonos, but I've got a couple of days and I've decided that I will explore as much of the island as I can to try and get a better feel for it. And today's plan is to start in the far southeast corner, which is this beach, Frangias, and then we're going to work our way gradually back along the south coast. Here is a bit of a look at a side of Mykonos you probably don't see very often in travel videos. Actually, once you get away from Mykonos town, into the more kind of rural parts, it's a lot more like a traditional Greek island, I think. So for any of you that might be wondering why I'm on Mykonos, if you've seen any of my content before or read much of it on my website, you will probably know that it's not my favourite Greek island. So it kind of begs the question of why I'm here, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it's a very convenient island to fly to from the UK if you want to get around the Cyclades. You've basically got a choice of this or Santorini, and often with Santorini, because of the location of the airport in relation to the port, you have to stay overnight, which can be expensive. But in this case, I wanted to explore some of the islands closer to Naxos, and Mykonos was the more convenient place to fly to. So that's reason number one. And reason number two is that although I have visited the island probably half a dozen times before, I've only actually stayed overnight twice before. And they've been fairly brief stays. One time was mainly to explore Gialos, and the other time was the first time on the island, and didn't really explore much beyond the kind of immediate area where we were staying and Mykonos town. So despite the fact that I did get to experience the crowds and the relatively high prices that put a lot of people off, myself included, I also felt like I haven't really given the island much of a chance. I decided that as I was going to be here for at least one night because my flight arrived late, that I would add an extra couple of days onto the itinerary and actually give the island a chance. I've got about 2.5 days to see as much as I can to try and get a better sense of what it's really like and whether it does have much to offer besides the slightly expensive beaches and nightlife. So that is what we are going to do. Just past a little number 3 marker there. This is actually an official hiking path on the island. I'm not quite sure where it starts, but I'm guessing it finishes at this beach, which you can just about see now in the distance. But yeah, whilst I am walking, I'll just tell you a little bit about my upcoming plans. So I am on Mykonos for, as I mentioned, about 2.5 days. It's now Thursday morning and I'm going to be here until Saturday morning, at which point I am going to take a ferry from here to one of the lesser secluded islands called Danusa. I will be on Danusa for 4 days. That should be plenty of time to explore because it's a pretty small island. I've never actually been there before. I've been to the ferry port on my way to Astapelia from Paros a few years ago. But here we are, coming up on Frangias Beach, which is looking, as expected, to be completely deserted. Certainly don't imagine to see anyone here. And there we go. We are on the sand. So this is beach number 1 of today. I don't expect it to be the nicest beach, but I am expecting it to be the quietest beach. Okay, here we are on Frangias Beach, or Frangias. Never know how to pronounce some of these Greek names, but I'm going to call it Frangias. That looks pretty nice. Moderately sandy beach. Don't know what the sea's like. Looks relatively clear. I guess if you were going to come here, you would certainly want to bring some shade and some supplies because, as we've seen, it's not the easiest of beaches to get to. Well, there are footsteps here. It's possible I'm not the first person on the beach today, but there does not seem to be anyone here right now. So I'm just going to have a little wander around. And then, unfortunately, we'll be heading straight back since time is at a little bit of a premium today. And with only a couple of days, this is really just a trip here to see the beach. So that was Frangias Beach. It is off the beaten track, but if you're looking for somewhere secluded when it gets to high season, it's only May at the minute, so it wasn't particularly busy anyway. But it could be a good spot for a quiet day at the beach. As you can see, there is a parking area here, which is about as far as you can get by car or moped, and then it's about 1 kilometre down there to the beach itself. But you do get some nice views from here of the surrounding islands. So our next stop is going to be Lia Beach, which is further west from here. Hello again. So just a 3-minute ride west of Frangias Beach, and we are here at the more impressive looking Lia Beach. And as you'll see, this is a much more typical tourist friendly beach on Mykonos. We've got some sunbeds over here, and then more importantly, a beach bar / taverna. So food and drink available. As you can see, it's still early in the season. I expect come June, July and August that this will look significantly different. People on the sunbeds, so not totally deserted this time, and also someone laying over there on the sand. But this does look like a bit of a nicer beach than Frangias. Probably wouldn't recommend that one unless you really want some peace and quiet. But here you go. Lia Beach. You can drive right up to the beach and park right behind it. So that was Lia Beach, you can see behind me, up here on the rocks. at the bottom end of the beach. It is quite a nice beach, but we are now going to head back to the moped, if I can get down these rocks without falling over, and onwards to the next beach is further west, which is Kalafati, and another beach called Agia Anna. Okay, this is beach stop number 3, Kalafati. So as you can see, the further west we're heading, the more built up the area is getting. Minibus of tourists there just arrived to see the beach as well. Another bus stop there where those people are stood. If you want to catch the bus here. And I must say my flight was full coming out yesterday, so certainly no shortage of people heading out now that we're halfway through May. And this is a nice beach, as you can see, much larger than any of the previous ones. You can see it's a little rocky along the shoreline here, so possibly not the best part of the beach to be on. There is a surf shack for windsurfing, and at the moment plenty of space to put down a towel. How much of this will still be here in peak season and not covered in sunbeds, I don't know. But here we go, this is a nicer part of the beach, more sandy now. There's a little bit shingly further up, so this is probably the better part of the beach to come to. Nice soft sand. There's something you don't see in Greece every day, a learner driver. Okay, just walking back down the road behind Kalafati Beach. Seems quite nice, although while I was there 2 buses turned up and disgorged some tourists. So it's obviously on a tour bus route, but that is still Kalafati Beach. And in the background there, I think that is called Lia Beach, which I'm now going to be walking roughly towards, because we're going to go over the headland that way, as I mentioned earlier, to Agia Anna Beach, which is a much smaller beach. But as you can see, lots of hotels and whatnot on the hills here, and definitely the sound of construction back there. So here we are at Agia Anna Beach, which, as you can see, is kind of dominated by this Hotel Anastasia, but it's a public beach, so we can get down and have a walk around, see what the beach is like. There we go. Nice clear water here, and pretty calm because it's in a fairly sheltered bay. Hello, back again, and we are now at Kalo Livadi Beach, which is a little further west, still on the eastern half of the island, east of Elia Beach. But let's go and take a wander down onto the beach. Sunbeds there, and there's more sunbeds over the other end as well. Getting in the old party mode. Woohoo! So let's see, this is a much nicer soft sand beach, I will say. And the sea looks pretty clear. So far, so good. See a few more people down that end of the beach there. There's another beach bar, possibly a hotel behind at that far end as well. So this is Kalo Livadi. So a little bit of a change from the beaches that we've been looking at all morning. This is Ano Mera, which is the second largest settlement in Mykonos, and also one of the oldest. It's the main inland village. Just had a lovely lunch in Vergos Taverna, Misaka, Mamos, garlic bread and tzatziki, very nice. So we're just going to take a little walk around. Definitely different to Mykonos town. Much more of a traditional Greek island village vibe here. Nice little square with lots of little tavernas for lunch. So we're just going to have a little wander around. The main attraction here is the monastery of Tourliani, which you can see just there. And we'll see if we can have a look around it in a little while. Another nice looking taverna. The prices here are much more reasonable than they are in Mykonos town. So that lunch just cost me 24 with the bread and tzatziki. The moussaka was 12.50 and the mamos was 5, which is pretty reasonable for a large beer. Another tour group. Looks like maybe you have to pay €2 for entry. So I had a change of heart and have paid to go in. And that was that. There's also a museum, apparently. Hello, welcome back. After that brief inland interlude in Ano Mera, we are back down at the coast, and this is Elia Beach, which is dominated by this Elia Mykonos resort. Rather posh looking hotel, but regardless, we are going to have a wander down onto the beach and see what it's like. Someone going for a run. Must be American. I don't quite understand. Well, that's a lie. I have been running when I've been in Greece before, but only when I was here for 3 months. Otherwise, I like to think that my holidays are exercise-free zones. But yeah, as you can see, The further west we've gone, the more built up we are around the beaches here. Hello. Obviously very popular with the water sports, lots of jet skis out and various accessories. So that was Elia Beach. Not much to say about it really. It seems to be dominated with sunbeds, which I think are quite expensive. One interesting thing, after I've arrived, there are now 2 buses here. So again, I suspect these may be cruise ship passengers that have been brought here to have a look at the beach and probably spend lots of money in this beachfront restaurant here. So that's the key for me to head off, since I'm not a massive fan of crowds. Right, so the next beach, I'm not sure, I need to look it up, but I know it involves going back to Ano Mera because there's no direct path from here to there along the coast, which is a little bit of a shame. So time to get back on the little moped and head off. But here we are at Super Paradise Beach. So we are here at Super Paradise Beach, which you can see behind me. It is quite a pretty beach, but as I mentioned on the way in here, they do not seem to like people just turning up unless you come through one of the beach clubs. You have to walk down a storm drain as far as I can tell, but you can still get here. And it's quite nice. Hello again, we are back. This is the last beach before I pit stop back at the hotel because my batteries are dying. This is Paradise Beach. Hello, Kalispera, good evening. So, after a day at the beach, we're just heading out for some dinner now. This is my accommodation, Mina Studios there. For dinner today, we are heading up the road away from Gialos Beach to a little taverna that I found on Google. That sounds quite nice, so hopefully the food will be good. And in the meantime, we're just going to have a quick look at the beach on the way down. This is Psarou Beach, which I didn't get to earlier. Didn't quite make my full itinerary for today. But that is Psarou Beach. So, a little bit late for the sunset today, so I'm going to do Mykonos town tomorrow, I think. I'm just going to head out for dinner and then go back to the hotel. This is the restaurant just up ahead that we're heading to, Nikos Galop. Hopefully it is nice. It's good ratings online, so hopefully the food will be good.